Law Subcommittee, Linda Sanchez.
I thank the chairman. Good morning, Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez, you've consistently maintained that only 8 U.S. attorneys were forced out of their positions, yet today's Washington Post states that there was a 9th, Todd Graves. Are there any more U.S. attorneys that we should know about that were forced out?
Congresswoman, it's always been my understanding that this focus has been on the 8 United States attorneys that were asked to resign last December 7th and June 14th, including Bud Cummings.
Mr. Attorney General, with all due respect, in page 2 of your testimony that you've previously given, you stated that there were only 8 that were forced out.
As part of this process, as part of this review process that I asked Mr. Sampson to conduct, and which resulted in the culmination in December of 06, these were the individuals that this process identified as where changes should be appropriate. Now, clearly, throughout my tenure as Attorney General, throughout the tenure of my predecessor and other Attorney Generals, U.S. attorneys have left the department for a variety of reasons. So that happens.
Let's stop there. Are you familiar with the former U.S. Attorney in Los Angeles, Deborah Wong Yang?
Yes, yes.
And are you aware that she resigned her position in October of 2006 and took a position with a private law firm?
Yes, I am.
Do you have information as to whether Ms. Yang's resignation was entirely voluntary?
From what I know, Ms. Yang's resignation was entirely voluntary. She did a wonderful job.
Okay, and are you aware that when Ms. Yang went to this firm, she received what has been reported as a $1.5 million bonus for joining the private law firm?
I don't know what she received, but whatever it was a bargain for the firm because she's an outstanding lawyer.
Are you aware of any reason why she would have been given such an extraordinary bonus payment to hire an individual like her?
I suspect that given her outstanding qualifications, the fact that she's a woman, an Asian American, would make her particularly attractive to a private firm.
So you think a $1.5 million signing bonus is typical for a situation like that?
Again, that's a decision for that firm to make.
Okay. Are you aware, and this has been reported in the press, that when she was hired by the firm, Ms. Yang was conducting an active investigation into Republican Congressman Jerry Lewis and his financial dealings with a particular lobbying firm? Were you aware of that?
I may have been aware of that. I'm sitting here today. I can't say that I was aware of that, but that is very likely. We have public corruption investigations and prosecutions that are occurring every day all over the country, Congresswoman. So it would not be unusual that
Well, let me tell you what concerns me. What concerns me are the reports that the same firm that hired Ms. Yang away from her post as a U.S. attorney with a large bonus payment also coincidentally happens to be the firm that represents Mr. Lewis in this matter. Does coincidence trouble you?
Not at all, because, again, what we have to remember is that, and for the American people need to understand this, is that these investigations are not run primarily by the United States attorneys. They're handled by assistant United States attorneys, career prosecutors. And so
she had no role in the investigation,
These investigations, these prosecutions continue, as they should. This great institution is built to withstand departures of U.S. attorneys and attorneys general. And
so you don't think it's inappropriate for a U.S. attorney to accept a lucrative job offer from a law firm representing the target of one of their active investigations in a position that she held just prior to going to that law firm? You don't think that that's inappropriate?
Again,
you don't think that there's perhaps at least an appearance of a conflict of interest?
Congresswoman Sanchez, I'm presuming, knowing Deb Yang the way that I do and the people in that firm, is that she would be recused from anything related to that matter as a member of that firm. And again, what's important for the American people to understand is, despite her departure, that case will continue as it should.
So you're not concerned even with the appearance of conflicts of interest?
I'm always
doesn't trouble you at all?
about the appearance of a conflict.
Especially at a point when the Justice Department is under scrutiny, the morale is probably at its lowest that it's been in decades, and people are questioning the integrity of the DOJ to act in an even-handed and fair manner.
Of course, as head of the department, I'm always concerned about the appearance and the perception. Of course I am. But again, this is more of a perception for the law firm as opposed to the Department of Justice because As far as I know, we had nothing to do with placing Ms. Yang in that law firm. And as far as I know, nothing about that investigation has been impacted or affected in any way by virtue of her going to work in that firm.
What about this? Are you aware that 1 month before Ms. Yang resigned her post, White House counsel Harriet Miers had asked Kyle Sampson if Ms. Yang planned to keep her post, or if, in Mr. Sampson's words to our investigators, quote unquote, whether a vacancy could be created there in Los Angeles? Were you aware of that?
I think I may be aware of that based upon my review. That I can't remember now whether or not that's reflected in the documents. Let me just say this, a couple of things about that. I recall Ms. Yang, when I said she left voluntarily, I think she left involuntarily, and that she had to leave for financial reasons. I think if she could have, she would have stayed. But I think she had to leave for financial reasons.
Former Chairman Jim Sensenbrenner of Wisconsin.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just beg your indulgence for 10 more seconds to ask unanimous consent that an article by the New York Times regarding the Yang matter be placed into the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
Reserving the right to